I've been wearing barefoot trainers for over 5 years now. If I was going to transition to barefoot shoes, these are the tips and tricks that I would apply for a seamless and injury-free transition. Barefoot shoes allow more natural movement of the foot, and initially you might feel fatigued or a little bit of soreness, but that is helping build those intrinsic muscles of the foot, and over time, as you increase the amount of stimulus, you build that foot strength that you so desire. Why should you consider going barefoot at all? Well, you have 33 joints, 26 bones, 107 ligaments and 19 muscles in your feet. And it's logical to assume that the stronger your feet and the more connected you are to the ground, the better balance you have, the better proprioception, or the ability to feel where you are in time and space, but also the ability to transfer force when you're out running or working out. Transition gradually. This is something that I can advise, but is not necessarily what I did. I know what it's like. You're so stoked about getting into barefoot shoes. You go and buy the pair and you put them on straight away and go for a big walk. It takes time for your feet and your legs to adapt to that new stimulus, and especially that new range of motion if you're used to wearing cushioned shoes. If you wanted to run a marathon, you wouldn't just put your shoes on and go straight away running. You'd break it down into consumable chunks, and from there you would then build up gradually. The process of progressive overload. As often as possible when you're in the house or in the garden, take your shoes completely off and allow your feet and toes to spread and build up that stimulus gradually. Maybe you work in an office that is quite open and you can afford to take your shoes off, walk to the cooler and back, and gradually build up the stimulus of barefoot over time. I've also reviewed some barefoot shoes that you can get away with wearing in an office and more formal occasions as well. So there is always an opportunity to wear a barefoot shoe. As we walk, we use a predominantly heel strike pattern and roll through the foot. But when we start getting faster, either through jogging or running, we use a forefoot or midfoot strike pattern. And that's because we are no longer relying on the cushioning of the shoe. We have to project forward and be up on our toes more. As you are integrating barefoot shoes into your running stride, you will have to increase cadence and also try and bring as much awareness as possible, not hammering down on the shoe, but creating a soft and quiet pattern. With barefoot shoes, there is a lot less material separating you from your environment. It means we have to remain vigilant, and yes, there will be some protection from sharp objects and stones, but because we can feel so much more through the sole, we have to be mindful where we are treading. They will offer some protection, lots of connection, but they won't stop you rolling an ankle. Personally, I really enjoy the fact that I can feel so much more through my environment. I'm getting a lot more sensory input and I'm a lot more cognizant of where I'm putting my feet, and it's almost like a walking meditation. I'm no longer imposing myself on the environment, I am blending with it. Traditional shoes with their arch support mean that we can become reliant upon that additional cushioning and support. However, what we are looking to do is encourage that natural strength of the arch to build so that that acts as our natural suspension. But one thing, and this is definitely what I have found, is that if I do a lot of walking, if I've been for a run and haven't done my due care and diligence, then that arch can get quite tired and fatigued. I find that getting in there with a bit of self-myofascial release, either using thumbs or using the tools and a little bit of massage oil, it just helps to relieve some of that tension and any undue pain or discomfort that you are feeling. I think things like toe socks and toe spacers are a nice thing to have. I don't think they're essential because given enough time and space, your feet will naturally adapt and widen. But if you have a specific problem, such as I've got a hammer toe on my left foot, so I'm hoping that with a little bit of guidance, I'm going to ease that out and allow that to go back to somewhat of normality. Blame ill-fitting rugby boots. You can even use your hands and start to interlock them into your feet, which costs you nothing, and you can explore and experiment and start to ease and massage your foot. And it's also nice to give yourself a bit of self-myofascial release and encourage that natural splay. You can't keep your hands in your feet all the time, so either invest in toe spacers or just naturally encourage your feet to spread over time by building the intrinsic strength and the gripability of those toes. Don't feel you have to wear barefoot shoes exclusively. You can go for a middle ground of a shoe which is fairly wide but can still have cushioning. If you have a personality type like me, then yes, you'll go full gung-ho and then jump straight into barefoot shoes, but it doesn't have to be like that. Also, by changing the environment and the stimulus that we are exposed to by being in the office, walking in the gym, going outside on hikes and on trails, it means that our musculature and our skeletal system is also having to adapt. So our feet and our body are working in unison, getting stronger and adapting to that new stimulus and range of motion. And finally, listen to your body. Your body has an innate wisdom and it is trying to tell you all the things. Unfortunately, we don't speak the same language, so you have to be mindful of where those pains and niggles are coming from. Take it gradually, go slowly. And yes, I am definitely guilty of this. As soon as I got my first pair of barefoot shoes, that was it. Barefoot for life. But you don't have to be like that. If we think about this as a lifetime, we can start to progressively introduce barefoot shoes into our life and our activities. The poison is in the dose. And if we can slowly start to build our tolerance, build our awareness and build our foot strength, then I don't foresee that there should be major issues. Hopefully this has given you some insight into some tips and tricks that you can start to implement as you transition to barefoot shoes. And if you are keen to grab your own barefoot shoes, then why not check out the link in the description, grab yourself a discount and help support the channel. There are plenty of reviews across the channel of hiking and athletic shoes that you can start to peruse and get excited by, as well as adventure videos and breathing techniques that you can start to implement for zero cost. As always, I encourage you to get outside, explore what you are capable of, and experience more of this human journey. Peace.